Hello everyone and welcome to this edition of Sheep Market USA. I'm your host, Lanny Brothers. On this edition of Sheep Market USA, we'll not be taking a look at sheep markets, but we will be taking a look at something that affects the profitability of your operation: feed cost. On this edition of Sheep Market USA. So no matter if you're a small, medium, or large operation or somewhere in between, if you feed complete pelleted feeds or commodity blends or bulk blends that you blend in-house, feedstuff cost will affect you. Unfortunately, not many shepherds have row cropping operations to defray our feed supply costs. Every Friday, the U.S.D.A. issues their feedstuffs and grain reports. Knowing and understanding the trends of these reports can help you understand the future of your feed costs and hopefully help shepherds plan ahead to help make your operation as profitable as possible. So, let's get right to this week's report. And right off, we want to remind you that you can find these reports online at the U.S.D.A. website in the AMS section or Agricultural Marketing Service at www.ams.usda.gov. So we'll begin the report with the National Grain and Oilseed Processor Feedstuff Report issued this past Friday, June 9th. Now, starting off with the corn distillers grain 10%, once again across all markets and all delivery methods, all markets have again recorded price drops from this same period last year, with quite a wide array of prices across the board, the biggest drops coming out of the western section of the United States. California dropped $91 a ton since this time last year at $285 a ton, down from $375 this time last year. The Pacific Northwest delivery by train down $62 a ton to $301.67, down from $364 a year ago. And the same market delivery by rail down $60 a ton from $339.67 last year to $279 a ton this year. In other markets, Wisconsin was down $52 a ton from last year, Michigan down $36 a ton, Kansas down $33, Minnesota down $31. So on the average across all methods and markets, that brings us to $235.07 a ton average. Last year, that was $271.84 average, which is a decrease of 13.5%. Next, we'll move to the corn gluten feed pellets, 21%, often used in commodity blends and bulk blends. Again, we won't walk through each region and delivery method, but all regions had a significant drop as of close Friday, June 9th, with the Kansas City region having the largest drop at $77 a ton compared to this time last year. St. Louis down $70 a ton from last year. The Central U.S. region had drops of $55 a ton on FOB by truck and $62 a ton on FOB by rail and barge both. California down $60 a ton from this time last year, so averaging across all regions and all delivery methods. Current as of close, the average was at $210 per ton compared to $266 last year, which is a decrease of 21%. Next on the soybean hulls. In the Illinois market as of Friday, hulls closed at $166.67 a ton, down $45 from last year. Minnesota closed at $182.50, down $23. Iowa at $183 a ton, down $34. Memphis down $42 to $159. So averaging all delivery methods and markets, last year's average at this time was $197 a ton. This year averaging $163 a ton, which is down 17%. Moving on to the soybean hull pellets used in bulk feed blends and commodity blends, there are limited comparison numbers for the Illinois, Iowa, and the Indiana, Ohio region to last year's averages. So looking across the board, Kansas City region closed at $210 a ton, Illinois at $180, Alabama $221.25, Minnesota at $180, Iowa at $190, and the Indiana, Ohio region closing at $171. So as of close Friday, the average across all regions and all methods at $192 a ton, which is up just slightly from our average this time last year. Soybean meal, 46.5 to 48% protein, was very limited comparison numbers to last year, but as of close Friday, most market regions and delivery methods had one thing in common: all were above the $400 a ton mark. Only 3 markets dropped below that mark, and those were the markets in the Kansas City region closing at $389.20, the Minnesota region closing at $380.53, and the Iowa region and the Iowa region closing Friday at $388.10 per ton. So as of close Friday, averaging prices across all regions, all methods, the average was at $419.36 per ton. So now to the yellow corn hominy feed used in commodity blends mainly from the Illinois, San Joaquin, and St. Louis region. The Illinois region FOB by truck went from $198 this time last year to $182 a ton. The Illinois region FOB by rail method closed at $175. A year ago, that was at $192. From the San Joaquin Valley of California at close Friday at $295. Last year at this time, $360. And the St. Louis region closed Friday with an average of $175 per ton, with no comparison numbers to last year. So across the board, all regions, all methods, average price per ton at close was $206.75. Cottonseed hulls closed Friday at $390 per ton from California's San Joaquin Valley, which is up $15 a ton from last year at this time. Cottonseed meal, 41%, split on their close Friday, with two markets showing increases and two dropping slightly. The Kansas City region went from $405 at this time last year to $412.50, and the St. Louis region at $400 last year closed Friday at $407.50. California's San Joaquin Valley region closed Friday at $390 this time last year. That was at $435. And we also saw a decrease in the market in Memphis, Tennessee from $390 last year to $362 as of this past Friday. So now on to the National Mill Feeds and Miscellaneous Feedstuff Report, also released on Friday. And the wheat middlings, which is a very common ingredient in complete pelleted feeds, were down across most regions as of Friday, even if just slightly. From the Kansas City region, FOB by truck is at $160 a ton, FOB by rail, $133.33, and the Kansas region, FOB by truck at $158.33. Minnesota closed down from last year at $146.67. St. Louis also closed down at $156. Chicago and Buffalo, New York closed slightly up, with Chicago closing at $180 per ton, and Buffalo, New York closed up also at $170 per ton. Looking at rice bran now, with limited comparison markets to last year. Current closes, the Arkansas region closed at $225 a ton, Louisiana closed at $200, Texas at $180 per ton, and the California Sacramento Valley region closed at $240 a ton, down $4 from this time last year. And that wraps up this edition of our USDA Feedstuffs Report, with the report dated this past Friday, June 9th. Once again, we'd like to remind you that you can find the Feedstuffs Report and much more at the Agricultural Marketing Service section of the USDA website at www.ams.usda.gov. As we progress on this journey, we'll be able to build more data and hopefully be able to highlight some trends in the feedstuff supply to better equip shepherds in preparing for what may lay ahead in their feed costs, which the better prepared you are, the better the chance of improving your profitability. We'd like to ask you to give a thumbs up to this report, leave a comment, and make sure to subscribe to the channel to keep up with new updates. So until next time, I'm your host, Lenny Brothers, on Sheep Market USA.